and welcome to the Spring 2024 edition of The Voice, the show that amplifies the voices and the issues facing the students, parents, staff, and community partners of Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools. I'm Brent Campbell, your host. In this edition, we will take a look at the Superintendent's Student Advisory Council, and we'll also talk to some parent volunteers. But before we get to that, let's take a look at what's happening in our schools in this month's edition of the Board of Education Spotlight. February is Black History Month, and WSFCS is proud of all the ways every school in the district has celebrated. Walkertown Elementary School, for example, held a special celebration day to highlight the month. The school had Career Day and invited community members from a variety of professions to speak to students about their jobs. The goal? To showcase Black professionals and their important contributions to the community.
So Black History Month is important to us at Walkertown because it is a time for us to celebrate the successes and contributions of African Americans in society.
I felt like it was really important for the kids at this school to see people in the community who could have all kinds of opportunities and careers, and to help get these kids college and career ready.
So I'm very proud of the whole day and the whole month, because throughout the month we've been doing different things, from Black trivia questions where the students answer and they submit their answers, to just famous quotes, to learning about HBCUs, learning about the different literature on African Americans, music. So just having that opportunity to be exposed and learn about different cultures.
There's even a Tuskegee Airman that was from this area. His name is Spurgeon Ellington.
I'm very proud of today. This is the first time this has ever happened here, and I'm just over the moon excited about it.
But the reality is that nothing except teaching can prepare you for teaching.
The best way to understand any career path is by listening and learning from those who have been there and done that. Current WSFCS students interested in careers in education had the golden opportunity to explore the profession through the first annual Aspiring Teachers Day. Students participated in a panel discussion with current college students in educator preparation programs, along with 4 veteran WSFCS teachers, and the lessons shared proved valuable for these future teachers.
I definitely still want to be a teacher. Something about today that made me even more sure is how the teachers talk about it so passionately and how they seem to purely enjoy their job.
My room is a safe place where they can take some risks, and that they will take the risk that they need to leave my room feeling better about themselves than they did when they enter.
Today was all about opportunities to showcase for our students that there's so many unique places that they fit as an educator.
I think a lot of times people don't want to go into teaching because of the pay or other things, but it's very important because it really leads into the next generations and fuels the future.
Art is a transformative way to bring learning to life for our students.
Superintendent McManus hosted the opening of the second annual Superintendent's Art Gallery. The gallery is made up of over 100 original pieces of art created by WSFCS students. All 81 schools in the district are represented in the artwork that now adorns the walls of all 3 floors of the Administrative Center and in the WSFCS Education Building. The creativity in our students is off the charts, and it shows. For students, it is quite an honor to have their work on display for so many to enjoy.
Feels great. Out of my whole school, I was the one who got chosen, and I feel like it's just an honor to be here.
It's pretty cool. Out of a sea of talent, because Forsyth County Schools I think has a lot of great talent, so it's awesome to just kind of be a part of that.
They said, "Oh my gosh, this is gonna be great for you, Katie. We're gonna be there, and your sister's gonna be there, and you got chosen," and they were pumped.
The whole purpose is honestly to celebrate our students, to celebrate their creativity, their imagination, and their incredible talent.
Art is like a way to express your emotions and your feelings.
Oh, really? It's beautiful.
There's a lot of talent. I walked around and looked at the drawings, and they were incredible.
Wow. Wow.
We get to showcase
all of our students' talents, breathe life into the buildings. And when you walk down the halls and you see this incredible artwork, it reminds us why we're here, which is to serve the students of Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools. It's just such an incredible and rewarding experience for them.
Do you want to order something? We're doing a food truck project.
I love your food truck. I think you have another customer waiting.
The kids, as they are shopping at the different food trucks, they had a budget, and so then they would have to remain within their budget.
So $6.60.
They had to work on making change with their money.
That's not hot. 50 cents.
It's kind of the perfect unicorn IB unit because it combines all of the 4 major subject areas.
That's what I'm getting at.
The 4th graders at Spies received lessons in science, social studies, math, and reading.
Teachers and parents get 20% off.
Students learn more when they're having fun, engaging with each other, and engaging with the lesson. This is deeper learning.
And it was really fun to paint it. And so we learned about how depth works. Also, I still need the $8. You get actual play money. I'm rich in it. We get fake money and they have to give it to us and we have to give them change and they order from us and we have receipts.
What are you guys ordering?
It's like fun because you're like selling and buying at the same time, and then we're adding and like learning how to sell too, like just like practicing for when we get older.
So I'm gonna give you, how much did I give you?
$15.
Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty good at adding, so. And selling though, I'm not used to it because I'm only like 10, so it's sort of hard.
We have like free discounts.
I think it will be helpful later in life, and it's very fun because like this is a fun project, not just like straight up doing work. You're like doing something fun in the process.
Your specials need to be more expensive, so you get more money.
It's basically like, I don't know, getting extra time to play.
Thank you for buying it, El Cazón.
And that is a look at this month's Board of Education Spotlight.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. Show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice, so everyone knows exactly what to do. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund breeding.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Information on hot water heating.
No. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out the words.
World music, playing track now.
No.
Let me try. Our daughter gets confused about which details in a story are important.
Which paper towels are most absorbent?
What?
Here are 5 product reviews.
Why are you not getting me?
See, I told you.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
In 2022, WSFCS Superintendent Tricia McManus started the Superintendent's Student Advisory Council. There are at least 2 representatives from each high school on the council, and routinely, these students meet with the superintendent and members of the leadership team to discuss issues facing the district, specifically those impacting students and learning environments. In this forum, they brainstorm, communicate ideas, share concerns, and offer feedback that gives students a voice in district governance unlike anything they've had before. Mikhail Covington is a junior at Glenn and also a member of the advisory council, the Students Advisory Council. So what do you think about this council?
I'm thinking it's really good. We can talk about a whole lot of things here, and we sort of got stuff moving, rolling like that, like the multicultural thing. We were talking about that last meeting, and now seeing that it's a thing that's actually in motion it's really special to see.
Are these ideas that you guys bring to the table?
Yeah, I like how we bring the ideas. It's like, it's one thing to talk about it, but then when you talk about it and you see them actually getting in the process, I think it's changing everything.
So aside from this, the issues that you guys are talking about in here, what kind of issues are you guys talking about at Glenn? What kind of things are the students talking about
at Glenn? Right now we're really talking about tardy policies, skipping, stuff like that, and just it's not too many big problems, but it's just like little problems. I don't really think we're failing as like a whole school, but we're doing pretty good. We've seen some things change. Yeah.
So tardy policies.
Yeah, tardy policies. We've seen less tardies with like the new absence things, where it's like 5 tardies equals an absence. That started getting more people in class, so I think that's good. And that's really that was the biggest thing for us, attendance.
Now this sounds like kind of a crazy question, but why do you think it's so important to have your voice, the student voice, in these decisions?
Because when it's different when it's some of your peers talking about the problems. And like you're hearing your teacher say this, and like your mom or whatever talk about your problems, you sort of don't pay attention that much. But when it's your friend or somebody you sit beside and they're in the same boat as you, you listen more.
Do you like this group? Do you like that it's a pretty diverse group. It's from all different schools.
Oh, yeah, I love the group.
It's a good mixture. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I love the group because I'm at Glenn, so I don't know what's going on at West or Reagan or anything. But then when I'm with other students from these other schools, I can see what they're going through and what we're going through. We can compare and contrast, and we can lead to like one goal of making the whole district better.
And in many ways, it's probably not all that different, is it?
No, not really. It's not really. We have rivalries and all that, but when we're here, it's just like, we're all working together for the benefit of the whole group, I think that's wonderful.
Sierra Bass, a senior at Carver High School, is also a member of the Student Advisory Council, the Superintendent Student Advisory Council. Sierra, what do you think of this group?
I think this group is really influential on making change in Forsyth County. We recently had the Mental Health and Wellness Institute. I felt like that was really informative with showing us how we store trauma in our bodies and where it actually comes from in our brain. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. And that's something you guys asked for, right? Tell me about that.
So in our last meeting last year in the 2022-2023 school year, we had a meeting and they were asking us what resources we need to function better, right? And a lot of us were saying mental health, putting more counselors in schools and things like that. By counselors, I mean like therapists, you know what I'm saying? So we did that, and the district came through for us. So that is one thing that I could say came from this group.
What other topics have you discussed since you've been in this group?
We discussed block scheduling versus, I forgot what the other one was called.
Versus the 7-period day or the full
Yes,
day.
we felt like the 7-period day would have been too much, especially for us student athletes. It would have been a lot trying to do work for 7 classes and then go to practice, and then, you know what I'm saying, some people work, things like that. It just would have been a lot. So the 4-block schedule, 2 semesters, we thought it was best to keep it that way.
Sounds kind of like a crazy question, but why is it so important to have the student voice in some of these major decisions?
Because it affects us. So I feel like with it affecting us, you should get the voice of some students to help make that decision.
And this is a group that's varied in age and type of people and schools. Tell me about that.
It is awesome meeting all the new people from different schools, because for all of us to live in the same city, it's really different in different schools, you know what I'm saying? Because it's the culture at Carver is really different from the culture at Mount Tabor or East, you know what I'm saying? So it's nice to meet them, hear their perspectives and things like that.
All right. Thank you so much for talking to me. So we're joined now by Tristan Muhammad, a sophomore at North Forsyth High School and a member of the Superintendent Student Advisory Committee. So tell me first off your thoughts on being a part of that committee.
Well, honestly, I think it's a really good opportunity just being able to be involved in a lot of the stuff that goes down, a lot of the decisions being made, you know? Just being able to I feel I'm a big fan of advocacy, you know? Things don't happen if you don't have a say. If you don't say anything, things won't change, you know? So having an avenue to help bring about change, not just with our own school, but the district as a whole, I feel like it's a really good opportunity that I'm very blessed to be a part of.
What kind of topics have you guys talked about?
We've talked about things like mental health was a big one, and it was actually as a result of our talking about it that we had a mental health institute not too long ago, and it was actually really cool. I participated in that, and I was sick. But we've also talked about a lot of the what was it? We talked a lot about the violence and stuff that goes on in school, the fights, that kind of stuff. Things of that nature, just a lot of the things that plague is the first word to come to mind, but it's not nearly that bad. A lot of the things that a lot of the issues that we see in our school system, those are the kind of things that we often talk about, and I don't know if finding solutions is always the end goal, but that's not quite what we do. We just we bring to light our perspective, right? Because the adults have their perspective, right, and we have ours. So it's our responsibility to share that perspective. We'll never be able to learn and actually figure stuff out if we don't share, you know?
Do you feel like you're being heard? I mean, do you feel like this is a great opportunity to be heard?
I definitely do. It definitely helps that the people in charge, the superintendent, Dr. Rocker, Dr. Wilson, they actually they know my name, you know? So it feels like I'm not just a number, and I'm not just a guy that's part of the thing. I'm Tristan, who is a member of the advisory council, you know? So it's not I'm not just a statistic. I'm also an active presence, and people, they know me, right? So to answer the question simply, yes, I do feel like I'm being heard.
What other issues do you think or hope that you will talk about as the year progresses and you move on through?
That is a great question. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not 100% sure. I'm just there's nothing immediately that comes to mind. I'm we should address this. Although whatever does come about, whatever is decided that we should talk about this or make progress towards this, I'm all in. I want to help in whatever way that I can. So I find that I don't tend to be a big ideas guy. I'm not super big on ideas coming up with solutions. However, when we do have a plan set in motion, I think I'm pretty good at logistics. Once a plan is there, I'm willing and have the ability to execute.
If somebody said, Tristan, what are they talking about at school? What are your friends? What are you guys talking about? What are the issues that you talk about as it relates to school?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what are those issues? You named a few, but what are some others maybe?
I don't know. I don't know if the drug problem is exactly what we would say, but just it's one of those things excuse me, it's one of those things where it's inescapable. It's it's just a thing that happens, you know. There's a lot of fights and such, you know. Those unfortunately those kinds of things are just unavoidable, you know. But it's those kinds of things. The drugs, the fighting, that kind of stuff. It's the stuff that disturbs everybody else, you know. It's I can't go to the bathroom in peace because everybody else is smoking in there, or I can't get to this class on time because there's a fight all through this hallway. That kind of thing. It's more so just the things that inconvenience everybody as a whole, you know. A problem is bad enough when it inconveniences one to a couple people, but when it impacts literally everybody, then that becomes when it's a major issue.
So you're thankful or grateful to be a part of this and to have a voice?
Absolutely, yeah. I feel like having, like I said, this opportunity gives me an opportunity to be heard and to give my opinion in a way that few things would, you know. So I genuinely think this is a great thing, and I'm very glad to be part of it. I intend to stick with it until I graduate.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it. My support team never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew who I could become as a person. been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
In April, WSFCS joins districts and organizations nationwide in celebrating National Volunteer Week. This year, the district has nearly 12,000 registered volunteers who do everything from tutoring, serving as mentors or chaperones, to also helping schools with day-to-day tasks like shelving books, helping in PE, and with lunch duty. We say thank you to these individuals selflessly giving of their time, talent, and treasure to assist our staff, build relationships with students, and make our schools better places with diverse adult faces and role models. And when you ask these individuals why they do what they do, many say because they truly believe they get more out of it than the schools do. We're joined by Amanda Kavalauskas, Mrs. K is what she said they call you most of the time. Making sure I got that right there. She's the PTA president, a parent here, and of course a volunteer at Jefferson Elementary School. So tell me a little bit about first why you do all of that.
Well, I first started volunteering because we've moved a lot in our lives, and I really wanted to make new friends and be a part of the community. And that was a great way for us to get involved with the local schools and for my kids to make more friends and meet other families and just get involved.
What kind of things do you do? As PTA president, I'm sure it's a lot.
Yes, so this year I've been more involved of all the committees and all the different organizations, but previously I was the staff appreciation chair, and so I was trying to help the teachers feel loved and show them that we are grateful for them and provide lunches for them once a month or try to do lunch coverage or anything to show a little extra love for the teachers.
Sounds like kind of a crazy question, but why do you think it's so important for schools to have volunteers like yourself?
I think that any school or any organization could always use extra support. So when a volunteer comes in willingly, you're not asking them to. I think that that shows their motivations, and they're usually more willing to step in and do the nitty gritty or whatever is needed to help out the schools.
And as the president, I'm sure you also try to recruit volunteers to help you. What do you tell potential or prospective volunteers about volunteering at school?
Usually we just tell them that it's great for your kids to see you being a part of something because it shows them that you're passionate about them and what they're doing. You also get to see the teachers' faces a little bit more often, and so they get to know you on a more personal level, and you show the teachers that you care, and I think that that can go a really long way, just to show that they're supported at home as well.
So for other people who are out there who maybe don't volunteer, who maybe thought about it but haven't decided to do it yet, what would be your sales pitch to them? Why should they?
If they haven't done it before, just because it can really bring a bright spot in your heart, it can brighten your day to come make a child smile or come show a teacher that they're more appreciated because they don't always see that, and to see that gratitude that they can have for you coming in, and also maybe do something that you've never done before. We have so many different ways that parents can get involved with Multicultural Festival and talent show and all of those different events. And so it can be really a fun community bonding experience too.
So now taking your volunteer hat off and putting your parent hat on.
Yes.
As a parent looking at the school, why are volunteers important? I know that you're one of those volunteers, but as a parent, why do volunteers make a difference?
I think that they can make a difference just to fill the gaps, because especially with a classroom, when you have 25 kids, there's always going to be other needs that need to be done. Maybe a teacher needs a lamination done and they don't have the time to do that in their planning time. That's a simple thing that a parent or a volunteer can come in and help with, or to give the teacher a little bit of a break, because I think all of us can benefit from that. Like if you've had a long day, but maybe you have 20 minutes to yourself, if someone comes in to help with that, I think that can go a long way to get you through the rest of the day.
Well, thank you very much for what you do for this school and for the entire district.
Thank you.
Jorge Rivera, a parent
Yes,
here at Jefferson Elementary School and a volunteer as well. Tell me a little bit about what you do.
Well, that's a bit of a long story, but I'm actually a former educator.
I taught high school math in Durham Public School System for
Okay.
6 years over at Jordan High School. So I did that from 2005 to 2011-ish. And then since then, I actually transitioned to computer science, and now I work for Cisco Systems, the networking company, not the food company, but I'm in software engineering role now.
And here, as a parent volunteer, what are the things that you take on?
Well, I'm part of the Watchdog program, Dads of Great Students. I've been doing that here since we've moved to Winston-Salem in 2016, I want to say. We've had 3 boys come through here. My oldest is now at Thomas Jefferson Middle School. My 2 youngest are currently still here, one in the 5th grade, one in the 2nd grade. So I try to get here maybe once or twice per semester, I'll say, to, work with the kids or whatever teachers need help.
So when we look at our demographics of volunteers, we have about 12,000 in the district. The majority are female. Why do you think it's important to have male volunteers in our buildings, around our students, or just at events, or whatever it may be that they're doing?
Well, yeah. So a little about my background. So I'm actually first generation college in my family. So I grew up in a poor area, not a lot of parental involvement from mothers or fathers. Of course, in a Hispanic community like the African American community, a lot of times fathers are not absent in children's lives. So when I became a teacher, being a math teacher, where there aren't many male minority math people who can show the young minority kids that you can learn these things, you can be part of the STEM world. That really made me want to help kids who looked like me, who came from environments like me. So when I was teaching, I saw a lot of kids who reminded me of myself. So I knew, as I went further in my teaching career, even when I transitioned to come here to volunteer, the importance of having male minorities in the classroom, in the hallways, things like that. And then me growing up without my father, I wanted to make sure my kids had in their life someone who was present, active in the community, active in their schools and things like that. And also I see a lot of kids around here when I'm walking through the halls who maybe they don't have as much parental involvement. So I enjoy working with those kids directly one-on-one, so they can see someone who looks like them, who talks like them. They can just see that there's someone there for them.
What's your sales pitch to somebody who's out there who's maybe thinking, I don't know if I can do it, or if I want to do it, or if I have the time? What would you say to them?
Well, the time investment, isn't much at all. I guess it depends, what your work-life balance is. But what I would say, is great, coming in here to walk through the halls, to sit with a kid who may not get that one-on-one attention that they need, and there's a little light in their eyes. I know it sounds kind of corny, but when you're sitting with them one-on-one, and you help them accomplish something that they previously couldn't do before, right? Whether it's something with math, something with reading, and when you see that aha moment, that light bulb go off in their head, there's something to be said about contributing to their growth academically, or in any other way you can help them. So it's definitely a blessing, just being able to help them. And I would recommend to anyone, if you have the time, if you have the patience, the willingness to work with children, is definitely worth the effort.
Well, thank you very much for what you do for our students here and across the district.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure.
Appreciate it. V. Pacine is also a parent volunteer here at Jefferson Elementary School. Tell us a little bit about why you volunteer.
Well, I started out volunteering about 3 years back, and I think, like Amanda said, my need to volunteer really stemmed from to be in the know. I wanted to connect with other parents. I had an older son that went through the school system, and I was not able to sort of volunteer when he was here because I had a younger child. So I think I sort of jumped on the wagon there to sort of make the most of this opportunity. But I think volunteering to me is a great way to just know what's happening at school, to connect with teachers. And I think parents are constantly just looking for a way to, contribute in their small way. And I've done that in different ways through my stage at Jefferson. So when I had a little one, like Amanda said, I was able to contribute by sending things in or coming in to volunteer randomly for a book fair, But as my child got into school and I was able to devote more time, I was able to sort of contribute in a more consistent way. And, and it's been very rewarding. So that role has sort of evolved, and I've sort of started off with managing membership and then grown on to sort of do a larger role which had other committees in it, and been able to recruit a lot of and encourage a lot of parents to sort of join in. So
one of the things we do with this show is kind of highlight things that people are talking about, issues as a parent and a volunteer. What are some of the things that you hear other parents talking about as it relates to school and what's going on in school? Maybe not just Jefferson, but just school in general these days. I don't know, is there some issue or something that you think about or that has been talked about?
I feel like, what I've heard parents sort of come up with is appreciating, a school which sort of works in a partnership. And Jefferson specifically, because I've been a part of Jefferson Middle as well, and I think both schools have done a wonderful job of sort of exemplifying that. Parents are very invested in the school, and I think that shows their children that, if my parents are invested, the teachers invested, it's always been run as a partnership. And I think that's a clear theme that's sort of come across over the years. I'm trying to think, what are the other things that parents talk about? I think what they appreciate is, the appreciation for diversity. And I think that's one thing that Jefferson stands out in, that it celebrates that diversity. And in a very big way, we have, I think, 63 nationalities, and, everyone is encouraged to share about their culture. And I think and they're educated about the culture. We celebrate Chinese New Year, we do Holi from India. And I think with that education comes acceptance and tolerance, and you are able to adapt and adjust. And I think that's a skill that's very important, that I feel both my kids were equipped with coming out of this school. So I feel like that's something that, I hear parents talk about. I hear them appreciate that. I see them celebrate that through a multicultural festival. And, I think that's a clear theme that sort of, comes out in conversations. And like it was mentioned, like Amanda mentioned, parents are always struggling to see, how do I volunteer? Because volunteering is always associated with, I'll have to be at school and I have a small child or I have a job. And I think, we keep sort of reiterating the fact that we welcome help in any way, whether it is your gift of time, or it is in the form of a PTA membership where you're contributing in your own small way to something that's going to be funded for the school. It is whatever you are willing and able to do, because the goal is to have everyone feel included and, feel like they're contributing towards their child's education in whichever way they can.
So you kind of touched on this, but sales pitch time, if you will, for a mom and dad or grandma or guardian or whoever sitting out there and says, I don't know if I can, or I don't know if I want to, or I'm maybe a little nervous to volunteer. What would you say?
Well, we have a lot of grandparents that volunteer, and I mean, not just by becoming a PTA member. I mean, I sort of helped out with the Multicultural Festival, and I would say that, one of the core members of my team was a grandmom who was helping me put up decorations. And I think that initial apprehension is there, but, I would just say that, just take that first step, and we will find a way to fit you in and to fit with whatever you feel comfortable in, because it is so important for our kids to see us at school. I know my son loves seeing me at school and feels like I'm invested. He feels connected. You get to know your teachers. You get to know so much about school that you wouldn't if you were just, sitting at home. So I think, or you were not, so I feel like you should just try and, reach out and see how you can sort of contribute in whichever way you feel comfortable.
I couldn't have said it any better. Thank you so much for what you do for the district and for the students here.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that's the spring edition of the WSFCS Voice. Join us next time as we again amplify the voices of our students, staff, parents, and community.